Spoiler alert, Slash's Paradise encourages viewers to watch these horror films before listening to our show. Danny and Lance will go through everything, including filmmaking, dialogue, characters, and even full scene breakdowns when we get excited. Enjoy the show. Hello, Slashers. Welcome to Slashers Paradise. That's Danny. I'm Lance.
Hi, Lance.
Hi, Danny.
Dude, we don't say hi nearly enough. Like, I know we're supposed to keep, social distance, but I think we should shake hands.
Okay, Danny.
Shake my hand. Shake it. It's funny. Shake. It's not my hand. Oh, man. Oh, I got you. Fucking got you.
Got two.
Oh,
Thank you,
man,
Danny.
that's not even my hand, man.
Why would you do that, Danny? Why in the world?
That was a practical joke. For those of you that are listening, Lance just took a fake hand of mine, and not only fake, it was a goblin hand. Because I love doing practical jokes.
You do?
I don't love it because I feel like my practical jokes are so committed to that they maybe go a little too far.
I bet. Like way too far or just too far?
All right, I'll tell you, okay? I'll tell you about my worst experience playing a practical joke or doing an April Fool joke.
Okay.
I was younger. I was living at home with my whole family was there, and I got my mom and my brother in on it that I was gonna prank my dad because my dad was always really good at getting us on April Fools and just simple things like jokes. He would just get us all the time, and I was like, this year, I was coming into my own, right? I was coming into my own as a performer. I was like, this year it's my turn. I'm gonna get him, right? So I told you, grew up in Texas, near the woods. So I went to go throw the trash, and I told my mom and my brother, just don't, call me out on it. But I'm going to go out there, and when I come back, I'm going to act like I was bit by a rattlesnake. Ooh. You see, it's the dumbest idea, and I shouldn't have done it, but I did. I came back in screaming, and I remember hitting the ground. Like that was like the commitment part. I hit the ground, and I was like, I got bit by a snake. And my mom, my brother tells me because they were in the kitchen when it happened. She just turned around and faced the wall because she was like, I can't. I don't even know why I agreed to this. Nobody even knew what I was gonna do actually. And my poor dad came rushing to me. He was like, where? Tell me. And I was like, oh, it bit me right here where it says April Fools. The face that he made, I will never forget. It was like the first and absolute last time I would ever do a prank on my father.
Were you just horrified after you see this face?
Well, because he had some choice words to tell me in Spanish, which I don't blame him. I would have used more if my little shit of a son did something like that. I probably would have. So here's the thing. I was mortified. I was so sad within myself, and I kind of stopped doing over the top April Fool's jokes at that moment. At the end, after that, it was just like jokes, just like, hey, I'm pregnant with a food baby. So original. But anyway, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was my worst moment. So yeah, maybe I wasn't on par right now when you took my hand. Okay, I get it from the reaction. I get it.
I feel like April Fool's jokes always just fall flat or they go way too far. The only joke or practical joke I've ever thought that I could even share with you was a friend of mine at a place that we work. We were told we'll give you a $25 gift card if you can scare us throughout the night.
Oh shit!
And it was backstage, and he had set it up so well. He's not older, but he's older than me. Brandon, if you're listening, this is about you. He had set it up with our supervisor where he was, he put the tea bags in a cup, and he's sipping it's really, really hot and all this kind of stuff. And he just full on trips, falls, splashes, and is just scalding hot water all over himself, right? Sort of a thing.
Oh my God.
And my supervisor is one of these caring kind of people, oh my God, oh no, what have I done? It's my fault because I'm your supervisor. And she starts crying.
No.
Yes. And she's a very strong female, and we've never seen her break emotion. She's always very stern. She starts crying, and Brandon was just oh shit. I did not mean to do that. It was supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a joke. He had cotton balls in his cup. So that was That was the over-the-top joke that I've ever seen.
Oh my
Every
gosh.
other prank joke attempts I've ever been a part of or seen has just completely fallen flat.
Well,
So-
here.
And here we are on April 1st, April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day, I don't understand. I don't know, and I don't care to know, I don't think, because like if you look into things too much, they lose their allure, they lose like the meaning. I mean, okay, how about this? I'd like to take that back. I don't care to look into the lore of where April Fools came from because I just don't give a shit. I would love to. Know more of Halloween and other holidays that like really are cool. But April Fools has just been kind of a day where people would just be dicks to each other, and I guess it's kind of died down because like life is just so freaking terrifying and horrible now that like playing like big practical jokes. Maybe I'm just in the wrong. Maybe I'm in the great circle of friends that don't do practical jokes because I think that those things can just go overboard.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I can't remember there being a large scale prank. I feel like it is really dying down in 2021. The last thing I remember was like somebody put out a trailer for a movie. I want to say it was like Marvel or something, and everyone believed it. But then I go and watch it. Oh, cool. A new movie or a new Face Off or whatever. And then it was a joke. It was an April Fool's joke. And you're like, okay, cool, I guess.
Stuff like that is like, yeah, okay, I get it. That's like you have a lot at your disposal. So I'm sure you can use stuff like that. But anyway, so you have this practical joke pseudo holiday called April Fool's Day where the goal is to play jokes on your friends, your peers, your strangers, doesn't matter, and just make them believe something. And then you're like, haha, gotcha, April Fools. That would probably do really well if it was the premise of a
horror film.
You think?
It would.
So maybe we should kind of peel the curtain back, folks, as we're going to talk about the movie
April Fool's Day.
Wow,
boy.
we turned into a holiday podcast right away.
I know. I've been trying to avoid these things so often, but then we're like, well, we have an opening. So
but let me just say, man,
let's just do it.
April Fool's Day, the movie, is fucking fun.
It is a fun film, and it's got quite a cult following. And we'll get into why it has a cult following in a little bit. But yeah, it definitely has a big following.
It's an 80s movie. Lots of 80s royalty.
100% 80s flick.
All 80, not all, but mostly. And I pretty much can tie, I think, every main character to a movie that they are in that I love. Mm-hmm. More so, I just think that it's a movie that, you're right. It's developed this cult following, and it's because, like, it's fun, Spoiler alerts are ahead. Sorry, guys. There's a huge spoiler alert.
We've warned you. So
we've warned you. You've seen it. So yeah. Do you want to? What do you want to do first?
Let's get into our pumpkin spice latte, Danny. So all on you.
All right. April Fool's Day, the movie. Centers around a group of friends who are asked to attend a birthday party and of sorts, and a retreat on this island that is that has a house and like a little bit of a getaway. While they're there at their friend Muffy's party or getaway house on this island that you have to take a ferry to, stuff starts to go haywire, awry. There starts to be mysterious deaths, albeit throughout the whole movie there are themes of pranks and practical jokes. Who's the killer? Is it Muffy? Is it her twin sister? You find out at the end of April Fool's Day.
All right, our breakdown for April Fool's Day. It was released on March 27th, 1986, so right in the heart of the 80s. Our director is Fred Walton, starring just a plethora of everyone from the 80s. Deborah Foreman, Deborah Goodrich, Amy Steele, Leah Pinsent, Clayton Rohner, Thomas E. Wilson, Ken Olandt, Jay Baker, and again, a plethora of other people. Our budget for the film, I need to look. $5 million for this.
Yikes.
Yeah, big one, big budget. Box office, 13 million.
Hey, it made money.
Success. Hey. Kill count, 19. Why not? It was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, almost like Connecticut. It's alluded that it may be in Connecticut or Massachusetts at times, but there's a lot of little details that they don't quite go into. So that's the breakdown. Danny, let's go. Let's get into it.
Well, Lance, I do love this movie, but I don't think I've ever watched this movie while being accompanied. There's a very famous drinking game that's with this movie.
What is it?
I believe it's every time a door is touched and or shut, or because they close and open a lot of doors and drawers and such.
Okay.
So it's like anytime that the sound of the door, because like the ADR was like over the top. Anyway, you drink to that, but I don't like that.
Why?
Because I think I like our own drinking game.
Oh, you're talking about Slashword.
Yes, I'm talking about Slashword.
If you don't know, Slashword is a little game we like to play on Slasher's Paradise. For everyone listening or watching, we have a Slashword, which is just like the game Password.
Right. As soon as you hear the word said throughout the episode for April Fool's Day, take a drink from your beverage of choice, whether that be alcoholic and or not. Stay hydrated. It's very important here on Slasher's Paradise. So if ever at any point we say the slash word, you take a drink.
You take a drink. So fill up those tiki cups. Today, the slash word is brought to you by Biff.
Biff?
Back to the Future.
What? You got Biff?
Absolutely. All right, Biff, if you're on the line, go ahead and tell our listeners and viewers what the slash word is for tonight.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Hey, buttheads. This is Biff. The slash word is fool. So why don't you just make like a tree and get drinking?
All right. If everyone's got that, make sure your tiki cups are filled with whatever. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. And on we go. You mentioned the drinking game that goes with April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the original Thing, which could definitely be a drinking game where it's just they open and close doors and scene to scene. I don't know if you ever noticed that, the black and white version of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's because it was filmed mostly on a set. So it's door to door to door to door. Yeah, the Thing.
The Thing. You said the Thing. The Thing from outer space.
The Thing.
The Thing from the
original.
Yes.
1950.
George Romero talks about it, about how that the sound mixing is like, it's very crisp.
Yeah.
The door closing. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we're ready to go. Danny, let's set the scene.
I need to talk about how awesome this movie has paid homage, whether it be intentional or not intentional, to its 80s royalty.
Okay.
I say royalty because, here's the thing. Stranger Things is my favorite horror TV show.
Okay.
I had watched season 1 when I was back in Texas, moved out here. Season 1 was my favorite thing ever. So, Caitlin and I were watching season 2, and it's a scene with Bob Newby, who's played by Sean Astin.
Oh, right.
And Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
And they're in the same scene together. And I flipped. And I almost got emotional a little bit because I'm like, there is 80s royalty staring at you right in the face. And it's just like awesome because it's like, yeah, that's Mikey from the Goonies. And that's Lydia from Beetlejuice and Heathers and all that, and he's Rudy. Anyway, what I'm saying is like, that was like awesome. So I love it when like there are these like movies that showcase or have these like 80s, I call them 80s royalty, and that's just because they were in specific and significant movies, at least to me, in the 80s, so they are royalty to me.
Okay. And we want to talk about the cast of this one?
Absolutely.
All right.
So maybe I need your help. But anyway,
okay.
With their real names. But Muffy?
Yes. Deborah Foreman.
That's the Valley Girl, man. Yeah. She was with Nick Cage. She's a Valley Girl.
Yes. She auditioned for this twice, actually. They did not like her first audition. Could not find the role of Muffy. They could not cast it. She begged to come back and then knocked it the F out of the park.
Yo, she kills it. She absolutely kills it. Okay. Honestly, I could only call this next actress by her very famous character from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Okay.
Ginny from Friday the 13th Part 2. Are you kidding me? She's in this movie.
Amy Steele plays Kit. So in this film.
Amy Steele, holy crap. But her boyfriend in this movie is played by...
is it Ken?
Yes.
Ken Olandt.
Who is... He's in Leprechaun. It's freaking...
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go? You want to go?
Yeah, he's in Leprechaun. He's also in Summer School, which I fucking love.
Okay.
And you're going to love too.
I'm going to love Summer School. I haven't seen Summer School, but he is in Leprechaun. Nathan. He's Nathan in Leprechaun.
Yes.
Okay. Give me the name of her cousin.
Oh, God. Nikki?
Yeah, Nikki.
Deborah Goodrich.
No, that's not Nikki then.
Leah Pinsent.
No, the man. He's a dude.
I don't have his name.
Anyway, that guy is in the Wraith. He's in the Wraith. He's one of the bad dudes in the the gang.
Yeah.
I guess that's all of them.
That's it, right? That's
Yeah.
it.
Thomas Wilson is in this movie, and he is Hello McFly. That's Biff, who we just heard earlier.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! And not to mention, and this is a very specific one, the guy with the camcorder, and
Jay Baker, I believe,
and the Nikki, who you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
They are both in Just One of the Guys.
Yeah, Deborah Goodrich and Jay Baker.
I'm sorry, guys. You could turn the whole episode off now. You can go watch this movie and have the time of your life.
Right. Not only that, but it's one of those casts, just like we kind of mentioned with My Bloody Valentine. But for real, we know this. They were all put together in a hotel for, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks before filming. So not only do you get these great 80s characters, great 80s cast, but you get them befriending each other and just coming together and just hanging out and having a great time before even filming.
Look.
And it translates.
Yes, it does, because chemistry is very important. But they are so, I think they're cast very well, especially because, they all just play their part. And I don't think, okay, there are a couple of stereotypes that didn't age well. And that is a time, test of the times. And that's, unfortunate. But the movie, I don't think ever takes itself too seriously, which I love. I think this is getting back to what Slasher's Paradise had always intended to be its target, or these chop it up, cheesy ass horror movies that don't, they don't care. They just have fun. And when you're having fun like that, you can honestly see it play through in the movie. And yeah, there's a huge plot twist. We've already said spoiler alert enough, okay? Okay. The movie itself takes place years. There is a bit of a flashback that Muffy, the main character-ish, has on a birthday of hers, where she opens a Jack in the Box and scares the shit out of her because her birthday just happens to be on April. It is her birthday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's on April Fool's Day. So she has this experience of having this practical joke done to her on this day. So she's like, oh, it's embedded into her. She's like, I'm gonna really get this done. So she invites all her friends over, and throughout the movie there's these practical jokes, like somebody like fake gets stabbed on the ferry, falls into the water, and then it's like, oh shit, okay, you got me. But then like shit starts to kind of get a little real, because there are some real deaths. One of the boat hands jumps off the water to save the dude, but it turned out it was a joke. He ends up getting smashed by the boat.
Yeah, and it's pretty damn gruesome. First of all, it's Arch and Skip. Those are the characters, and one of them's Biff, that play the first prank. The second prank of the film, and it's on the boat, and they're throwing this knife around. And then, yes, the hand on the ferry gets his head smashed by the boat and the dock. And they pull him up, and it's just this chaotic scene. Like, we just saw a chaotic scene, and then we're told, no, it's April Fool's, funny. And now we get another chaotic scene with this guy's eye just popped out of his head, and it's just blood coming down, and he is frantic. I would be covering my face. I would be feeling the eyeball personally. His arms are flailing all over the place. He's getting dragged around the ferry.
Yeah, personally, if my eyeball fell out of my head, I'd want to be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, like Vader.
Sure.
not Darth Vader, Van Vader, the wrestler.
Uh-huh.
He wrestled Stan Hansen in a match in Japan and got his freaking eyeball out. Anyway, continue.
Just another day.
Just another day on the Japan circuit. But yeah, so shit starts to happen. It's already like, whoa, gosh, start of a chaotic weekend. This dude has to be rushed on a little boat all the way back to the mainland because his face is all chopped up.
Right, but he didn't die. So we're still in this stance of like, okay, we saw a prank, we saw a real incident. What's real, what isn't? As an audience member, that's what I think.
So yeah, but like it's cool because it's like the movie kind of has moments where it's like, okay, this is gonna be a typical teen slash 'em up slasher, and then there's like little things that are just like, okay, but this isn't coincide because Muffy and all these people are calling themselves children or teens or young adults of privilege.
Yeah,
they call them. So yes, it's very about society.
They're college students, and then
students.
They actually make a reference to what college I think Muffy goes to, and that is a real college that I believe is like a private arts school or something like that. So just a little background on that. So they are a little more privileged. Again, I said this kind of alludes to like Connecticut or Massachusetts, like a little island on there.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, it's
high society.
This is elitist, But what's so funny is that they talk about all this elitist shit that they should be a part of, and what are they having for dinner? Freaking hot dogs and baked beans.
Oh, I know. They're still kids at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you give me hot dogs and baked beans, I will be happy any day.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I love hot dogs and baked beans. Obviously, I love food, okay? All right. Who doesn't? But at the same time, there's something it's not clicking, because it's like, first of all, her name is Muffy, and it's like, the stereotype. Hey, if your name is Muffy, that means you have a trust fund and you're Muffy and that's what you blah, blah. But they're in this house and there's like paper plates and it's like something's not. So there's like that uneasiness at the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, Muffy, I haven't heard that. I don't know, feel like that name's kind of died in the 80s.
Thank God.
I have not seen that. But that was another thing in the 80s was like this prestigious thing was always like this British tone to it. Like Weird Science, I think it was. Like the grandparents are British for no reason whatsoever.
No reason. I'm not going to stand here for this baloney.
Right. So
won't you know? He doesn't stand for baloney. The grandmother had as deep as voice as the grandfather.
Anyway, there's yet another 80s trope over this. But what I love about the good portion of the front half of this is everyone kind of separates off in conversation. So you get to see the dynamic of everyone and then they're trying to hook up with each other.
What I did enjoy, enjoy is the wrong word. What I did appreciate is Biff's character, and I don't give a shit that his name is really Thomas Wilson and that his name is Archie in the movie. I'm going to call him Biff. In the movie is supposed to be the jock, right? He's popping his collar. He's going for it, right? He is obviously a little bit of a pig. Say that his goal is to hook up with as many girls as he wants, and that's, you're in college, right? Your hormones are going crazy. You want to do these things, this is what you're doing. So, at one point he tries to hit on Muffy, right? And what I appreciated is that they had a character that was supposed to be, very, at least definitely by today's standards, disgusting. And he kind of pushes himself onto Muffy and stuff like that. And she tells him no, right? Or she goes into her room and he just, he's not a jackass, overly jackass about it, right? And I was just like, whilst this isn't perfect, this character isn't perfect, where his goal is to, okay, look, I was in college, whatever, I know what's going on. I know what the score is, but the point is that they kept him likable, right?
Yeah.
Because he could have lost a lot of his moment there where if he was come on, if he was extra Biff, at that moment, which is, I guess, probably what I was thinking as watching Thomas Wilson this moment. I'm like, he's going to be Biff. He's going to be like, come on, Lorraine, come on, someday you're going to be my wife, or something like that. But he didn't. He just took the no and went on his way. And
I don't know when this was filmed, but he looks much younger in this film than he does in Back to the Future.
It could have been one of those things where, because the movies get filmed and then they don't get released.
Yeah, I just didn't see any facts about that, so it's kind of interesting because he looks way younger.
It's also the hair, right? Because his hair in Back to the Future, he's buzzed, and this one he's coiffed. You know, it's very feathered. It's very nice.
Yeah. You're right. He immediately is like, he gets turned down. So what does he do? He goes and fucks with his friend who's getting laid or trying to at that moment.
Yeah, they're doing some sort of like tantric yoga position.
There's a lot of like Cosmo scenes, and that was actually a fun fact for this was the girl who plays Nikki, Deborah Goodrich, was actually reading Cosmo off set, and the director heard it, rewrote the scene, and said, "All right, now improv it," and they filmed that, and so that's why that scene is in there. So there's a lot of like talking about sex and exploring and all this kind of stuff with these college kids.
Like, what is Cosmo quizzes if not the BuzzFeed quizzes of today or most recently?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I appreciate that. I guess when you watch these movies now, looking back, it's like I think I appreciate them I live vicariously through them so much because it was a simpler time. It was a simpler time in the sense it's like she's reading from a newspaper. It looks like a newspaper, but she's reading from a magazine. You know, it's like nobody's on their devices. Like at one point, they're like, "Hey, let's go kick a soccer ball." All of us around outside. I mean, the most technology is that what's his name has the camcorder, and that's actually how it opens on with a cam.
Yeah, it's a very rough POV, and it's pretty obvious to me, at least. Maybe it's just my cut, but it's dubbed over. Oh yes, if you're watching it, he's got this very sophisticated camera, like legit. Like I think I have a new version of the same camera, and that's even old. So
let's get going.
But yeah, he's like the tech guy. He's a very like the synthetic aged.
He's at one point he's wearing like parachute pants. Or they're almost pajamas.
It was that weird British / punk
New
thing
age,
that people.
Right?
Yeah,
almost because it's
so he's wearing a blazer and then he takes the blazer off. And he's got like a vest on and he's got the glasses. He's got the flock of seagulls hair kind of going on.
Nothing wrong with that hair.
I mean, we didn't see enough of those characters. I think in 80s horror films, we saw them everywhere else, but. He's definitely got a style. He's into video. He's filming everyone and everything.
He reminds me of that one character who's like the sci-fi nerd in New Blood, Friday the 13th New Blood.
Yeah,
you know, like the guy.
A little bit.
Yeah. But in any case, we could talk about each character. I think they fill their roles and they fit the trope as well as they can. But there's always something that's just not. Because a Friday the 13th movie, when you watch it, they fill these tropes very, very well, but they don't like. I felt like almost this movie was poking fun at itself a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving it too much credit, but that's just me.
I feel like some people categorize this film as a satire, where it is totally aware of the genre and everything going on. It was made by Paramount, and one of its producers produced 4 Friday the 13th movies. I forget his name, but so there is a tone, there's a look, there's even a little bridge reminds me of something exactly from Friday the 13th. So there's a look and a feel to the film that is very Friday the 13th.
Oh, looks like it's gonna storm. Yeah, it's gonna tear through that valley like a son of a gun. It's Kevin Bacon from Friday the 13th, the original.
Yes, it is. So some similarities for a reason. Again, kind of categorized as a satire of the horror genre.
Okay, I think we have spoiler alerted enough.
Spoiler.
Here's the huge spoiler, right, Lance? Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right, guys, there are lots of deaths, and some of them are really over the top, and some of them are just like alluded to that it's going to be a death after death after death. And then, you know, Ginny and Nathan, calling them by their Friday the 13th and Leprechaun names. Sorry, give me their real names.
Kit and Rob.
No, it's Ginny and Nathan. So they're a couple, and you know, tiny subplot about how Nathan or Rob is. He wants to be pre-med, but they told him, it's one of those like, I'm not good enough. I'm not even good enough to be around here. So he's kind of doing like a woe is me. And there's like this little kind of side subplot about that. But all their friends are starting to die around them. Biff dies. Camera guy dies. The Valley Girl dies. But the whole thing, which nobody decides to talk about until towards the end, Muffy has a huge character change.
Yeah.
She in the beginning she's like bubbly and she's like and she's like doing that thing with her mouth and it's very sexy, by the way. She's like, like some people could do that. Some people could do the bite lip thing. Other people cannot. She does it very well, and it's almost like she's got something going on up her sleeve, right? Well, then the next day when all the shit starts to go awry, she has a total character change. She's like, wearing these like, I mean, she's very fashion forward when she's Muffy, but now she's like, she's wearing this like long skirts or long dresses with the sweater. Like, her hair is like not as, wild when she was Muffy. She's got like close-toe shoes. So they talk about all this stuff, and there's like a huge character change, but nobody says anything. She's like this like almost like misery character.
Yeah, it's very subtle, if you don't really pay attention to it, because nobody else is. Which I think is a cool thing, it's almost like a hidden Mickey or something, or Mickey's changing into a weird zombie. So
yeah, because she's very much like, oh no, we don't have any guns in the house, because shit starts to happen. And there's this, by the way, I do like that the Texan character, or like the guy with like the southern accent. Yeah. He's great, because he's apparently was invited because he's Muffy's classmate, but he knows that Muffy's connected with some her uncle is somebody that this dude wants to obviously befriend and or network, right?
Yeah.
And it's fun. Do you remember when he's in his room, because they all get separate rooms basically. He's in his room and he's like going over how he's gonna talk to Muffy, and like every pitch is fucking terrible. He's like, Muffy, your connections and my he said my drive and your money. He's like, no, that ain't good. And then he tries it again. He keeps on coming down to that. Anyway, so like while they're in their rooms, they like see different things. Like he sees these newspaper clippings and all this stuff. Okay, I talked about the spoiler. I'm going to get to it. I promise. All right. People start to die. Now it's up to Ginny and Nathan. And they're going around and they're trying to get off the island. But the whole time they think it's Muffy, right? Or they think... No, sorry. They think it's the guy who fell off the boat, because they think he's coming for his revenge, because we made him fall off the boat.
And it's the burning, so...
And we will definitely get to that.
Can't wait.
And so when they get a call from the deputy sheriff who was on the island as they were arriving, and then took, the hand off the ferry, they took him back to the mainland. They finally get a call, and he's like, I've been here the whole time with him. It's not him. Yeah. And they're like, oh shit. So they start to look inward, and so Ginny and Nathan kind of figure it out. It's probably Muffy. Everyone else is dead and or dying around us. And there's this big moment where they go down into the basement and they see that Muffy not only lived here, but she had a sister here who lived with her named Buffy.
Buffy. Okay. Muffy and Buffy.
These parents hated their kids, obviously. It's a twin sister. And obviously, and in the call from the deputy was made aware, hey, watch out around Muffy. She's a little unstable. Okay. They're about to leave, right? They're about to get out of there. Why are you laughing?
I just want to call these characters by their right name. It's Kit and Rob, and they're finding facts, like little facts. There's one on the boat that you talked about where they conveniently have to maybe that's what makes it a satire, is like they find these convenient little clues.
Yeah, it's like Clue.
Yeah, which I think was produced by Paramount as well, and the same production company as this one. But there's these little clues that lead them down to the basement, and they're just kind of like perfect little clues to find out that there's Buffy and the twin sister of Muffy, and there she is.
But that explains so much, Lance, right? That explains the moment that they were like, well, why has this girl changed her persona? Why has she changed all of a sudden? But she looks just like Muffy. Well, because it's Buffy.
It's Buffy.
And they have to, they make it to the boat. They're going to leave. Okay. Rob and Kit are going to leave, right? They're going to leave the island, but there's no keys. There's no keys. They got to find the keys.
You got to find the keys.
And the keys were, conveniently mentioned by Muffy earlier, that the keys they are kept in the kitchen. But they kind of went through the house of horrors already, finding all their friends dead. So they're like, I don't want to go back. So then we finally go back. It's face to face with Buffy. But
there was something about that scene where Kit says that she doesn't want to go back to the house. And again, this reminds me so much of Friday the 13th that my subconscious went into Friday the 13th. I'm like, Jason's back there. Do not go back to the house.
Oh, it's like that part in, I think it's which is the one it's part 3, right? The one with Shelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or when it's not Trish, it's another name. But she wakes up on the boat and she looks back at the house and he's up in the second story.
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't have his mask on. Anyway, we'll get to that in the future. But anyway, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Don't go back to the house. And when they start going back to the house, they see all the doors have been closed. Oh, it's very Halloween 6 where they go back to the house and all the curtains were like Michael Myers put like quilts all over all the windows and stuff.
It was the cult anyway. The reason that scene stood out, and I can get to the cult following of this film. The film, you don't see too many of the deaths. You kind of see the aftermath of it, or you see the shocking. It's like a Shelley scene where it's just like, and then you see the aftermath of the kill. Yeah. So that scene kind of sticks out. And because this movie isn't that violent or that gory, they didn't have to make that many cuts. It was on TV a lot. So the cult following is based on basically the TV version of the film that people got to watch a lot.
Well, see, you're right, because like, okay, so besides the first mate on that ferry getting that eye gouging sort of like moment, you really just see Thomas Wilson being hung upside down and a snake snapping at him, and then somebody coming up to him and he like gasping. That's the last time you see him. But at one point, Nikki, there's a problem with the well, and they go into the well water. And there's heads floating around, and there's a body that's Nan. That's another one of the characters. So like, but you just see, aftermath. There's a hanging body. There's like one of the dude has got a blood spot on his member area. So it's like,
and it's alluded that it was basically cut off.
Yeah. Right. So you're right. There is a lot that's like, well, we never saw anyone actually get killed. Mm-hmm. So.
It's not.
So is anyone actually dying?
It's not incredibly terrifying. I think one of the more scary scenes is Arch ends up hanging upside down. There's a rattlesnake. Yeah. Good timing. Oh, there's a snake.
It's a snake.
It's a snake. Oh, excuse me. It's not.
It's a rattlesnake. It's a slippery snake. It's not a rattlesnake, first of all, but they did add a rattle.
It's a snake, and it's right at his head. And all we see is the killer. We see the feet, just like Friday the 13th. The killer kicks the snake out of the way, and then we just assume Arch is gone, dead.
Yeah, because he makes like a, he's gonna die.
That was one of the more scary like death scenes that we got to see.
Of course they gave it to Biff, man, because he's the one that's gonna nail it. Yeah.
So again, we have not seen a whole lot, but we know that people are now dead or incapacitated or whatever. They are assumed dead.
Yes, they are assumed dead. But now they've come back to the house, and of course, the final moment separates the would-be protector, which is Rob from Kit. What?
No, keep going. No,
yeah.
I just want to talk about Rob when we get there.
So Rob gets separated from Kit, so he gets kind of like locked in the pantry, and it's basically Kit versus Buffy. Face to face, and Buffy's not saying anything. She's got the knife, and she's like, kind of cornering Kit, kind of cornering her
with the creepiest look on her face.
Yes, that's why the Valley Girl's killing it, man.
Yeah, totally.
She kills it and backs her all the way up to these barn sliding doors, and opens up the sliding doors to get away from Buffy. What does she see?
Everyone, all of her friends.
But they're almost like they're just chilling.
Yeah.
One of them's making a house of cards, and the other one's reading a magazine.
All by the fireplace, just hanging out, having a good time, talking to each other.
And nobody's saying anything. They're all alive, and they're all looking at each other.
They're not looking at her.
They're not looking at her. And she's like, what's going on? Looks back at Buffy. It's a fake knife, retractable blade. Oh. And she figures it out. It was all a ruse. Yes. April Fool's Day, man. It was a joke.
So it's been revealed. Everything's been revealed. But poor Rob is still stuck behind the door and screaming for Kit. Get out of there. Run.
I love you.
He confesses his love for Kit. And it's so sad. He's screaming and terrified and just clawing at the door.
I think we're laughing at the same thing because he's like screaming his ass off. And who's in the pantry with him? The fucking first mate with his eye all gouged out. He's like, I love you too.
He puts his hand on his shoulder and Rob loses it, screaming. Still has no idea what the fuck is happening. This guy with his eye bulging out, and the guy just rips off the prosthetic right in front of him and slaps it on Rob's face. Rob still doesn't understand what's happening.
He's still, that's why he's not going to be made for medical school, because he's a fucking idiot.
He goes running out of the room, around the corner, into the barn door, sees everyone, still is like, what the fuck is happening? And it's just, he sells how terrified you would actually be. Like, I think he kind of steals the show in this one moment.
Yeah, he was like, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go so hard right now. They have to cast me in one of the greatest horror comedies of all time, Leprechaun in the 90s. They have to cast me in this, and they did, and he did great. What?
Oh man, just had to throw in the Leprechaun in there.
He's in it. He's in it.
I fucking died at that scene. I thought it was so great that he, like you said, just went for it, and he's the most terrified of anyone in the entire film. It's in this one scene.
But if Lance, can I real quick just take you on a little? I want to take you on a little story, little moment. Okay, remember I talked last time. I talked to you a little bit about the video store.
Oh yes,
right? I want to talk about.
Oh yes,
I want to talk about this. We all have friends, right? For the most part, we all have friends. We have people that we would like to hang out with. Maybe we take vacations with or not, right? I want to experience the feeling. Can you just put yourself in these kids' shoes? They're all on the ferry. They're all full of hopes and dreams. They're in college, man, and they're going to this house and they know they're going to be okay. Fast forward. Then it's the part where they all get assigned or they all take the rooms. Mm. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, there's just I can share a special story about how we did a summer rep theater when I was in school, and we went to the neighboring state and we were given a cabin, you know, and it was just like fun, dude. Like, yeah, like we were, pseudo responsible, but we were kids and we were drinking, I mean, I was already 21 at the time because I was doing it later in my collegiate career, but it's like career. And it's just like, I want that, man. Yeah. And since moving from, cause like, okay, when I was in Texas, I knew adjacent to, but just picture it. All right. And I know I'm going to paint it out and you're going to think obvious horror movie, but you're with your closest people, right? The people that you feel comfortable with, the people that you kind of can let your hair down in front of. Okay. All right. And one of you is the party person, and another one is like the art person, and another one is probably like the one that's gonna aesthetic. And you're like, oh, it's a good thing that we have this person going with us, because if it gets, the situation where we have to light the fire, we're glad we have them. This is the practical person that's gonna keep us in line and all that stuff. And you guys are just going, right? And you're going and you're like, hey, I got a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom cabin. We could all split it. We're going to go up to the mountains. We're going to hang out with each other. And you're just like, maybe you're with your significant other. Maybe you're not. It doesn't matter. Maybe other single people are going and you're single too. And you're just going. You're going. And you're going to be like, what's going to happen? All right. And let's not the obvious horror thing happen where there's a mass killer in the woods. But let's just say that whole trip is fun. Yeah. You just do things and you experience, isn't it? That's fun, man. I don't know. You tell me, where's the areas to do it around here? I don't know the areas. Is it the Big Bear or is it the Mammoth? Or do I have to stop putting the in front of them?
I mean, you can get cabins in Big Bear and it's beautiful and wide open. It's actually really close to where I grew up. Mammoth is another one. You can find some spots. Man, I feel like it's kind of dying off. Like everything's expanding and we're in California, so we're kind of losing a lot of these areas. But maybe up north, there's a lot more of those kind of areas. But it's not here. It's in the East Coast, really, and northern East Coast.
No, you're right, because New Jersey is where they shot, or where the original Camp Crystal Lake is. It's in New Jersey. But I mean, Caitlin and I over Christmas we did a fun little retreat to my ranch, It was like, I mean, nobody, like, it was just us. And I made by the way, when I was talking about all these people that fill the roles, you got your fire person, all that stuff. I'm all of it. I could make a fire, but I could also keep the party going. But I could also make sure the people are in line and check.
So you're Hollis and Let's see. Who's a good survivor? Thinking Friday the 13th, probably. No?
I'm shaking my head because I don't see myself. I'm probably Jenny's dude. The guy, the dude. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of his name. Yeah, but I see his face and I'm like,
Jenny!
Yeah. So you're the mix of the two. You're Hollis and Jenny's
Fuck yeah, man.
Jenny's man. Okay. Great. That's awesome.
And I guess I'm a little bit of Archie too in my younger years. I'm a little bit of Biff. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a safe place, right?
We grow up. We change.
We grow
college
up.
and high school. It's okay. Guys.
And they fly.
We were all very different people 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's
Dios.
okay. We all change. Yeah. We go through things. We said things 10 years ago that are not okay to say.
But I will say that this movie, though, I just had that rush of feeling like, God, I want to get some people together and let's fucking go. Do you want to go, dude? Like, can we just go?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's plan it.
All right, man.
Well, I mean, not right now, but.
No, not right now because there's credit cards and people will steal stuff.
Anyway, I want to go back to the video store with you and talk about the poster for this film because it was one that always stood out to me as a very ominous film and something that was always very intriguing. Obviously, April Fool's Day, it's some sort of holiday film. You said, was it Pseudo? Thank you.
Pseudo is the jacket I want to wear tonight.
Pseudo. The poster was so cool because it's obviously female, the ponytail that turns into a noose.
And she's holding it, right?
No, she's not holding the noose. She's holding the knife behind her back with all her friends hanging out in front of her.
Oh,
and
so the ponytail just like hangs off her.
The ponytail is in the shape of a noose, and it's in the back, and then she's got the knife behind her, which points up into the noose. It's just this really cool, intriguing thing of like, you assume that this person in the front is probably Muffy or Buffy once you start watching the film, and she's going to kill all of her friends. The whole point of this was that she inherited the house. That is the end of the movie. She inherits the house, and she wants to make this badass murder mystery hotel stay.
Yeah, she said
bed
like
and breakfast.
Like a whodunit retreat. Basically, like a murder mystery. That would be fucking awesome. She did say that she's like, I did kind of go a little overboard with you guys because I had to make sure that you guys wouldn't find out, but I wanted to test it on real people. And it's like, that's such a, I believe it. And you know what? I will say about this movie as far as where it fits in amongst the pantheon of horror fans. Because you got your horror fans who are extreme. You have your horror fans who are like, I saw Halloween Town. Or I watch Hocus Pocus on Halloween,
Yeah, we're here for all of you.
Absolutely. This one is one that if you wanted to get a little taste of what a slasher movie can be, but without having like the overall repercussions of like feeling like, gosh, everybody died. Nobody dies.
Nobody.
Not one person dies.
Yep. April Fool's, that kill count that I threw out there, not real.
Yeah, we could have actually said anything because nobody dies.
Yep.
I wasn't even gonna make a joke because I was gonna say the only person who dies is the horror purist. No, fucking April Fool's Day is fun. It's fun. It's a nice one for you horror fans who want to introduce a horror movie to somebody and kind of get them in. They can go through those moments because there's a severed head and hanging upside down. There's some there's some interesting the eye gouge. All that is like terrifying, but at the end, it's like kind of a happy ending because it was all a joke.
Yeah. And there's one thing about this film that as I was watching it again, I was like, there's something unfulfilling knowing the ending. There's something unfulfilling that it's not a horror film because it's all fake.
Yep.
But when I got to the end of it, I'm like, that's a great 80s film. Like, It's just a great, fun, young 80s cast that's just having a good time. And even the director said that. It's like, my cast was just a bunch of young people having a great time.
It definitely looks it.
So that was my takeaway. I was like, I may feel a little disappointed. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Cry Wolf. I felt very disappointed with that.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's another kind of setup sort of like this. It's a game in a college, which they had a really cool online game, which I used to play. It was like, who's the wolf? Anyway, I felt really unfulfilled by that film. But this one at the very end of it, it's so stylized as the 80s. It's just a cool 80s flick. It kind of has a horror facade almost. Yeah. So,
I mean, yeah. I think we pretty much said it all. I mean, it is in a way, if you want to play a practical joke on your friends, this is a kind of good one to do because you can kind of see their reaction because Caitlin and I watched it recently, and I remember that the only thing I remember about the movie each time I try to rewatch it is that it's a joke. That's the only thing I remember. I think Caitlin forgot it, so I was like kind of like waiting for the moment. And it's fun to watch first time viewers or people who kind of forgot the major plot point to see them see that moment, and it's cool. It is an April Fool's joke.
There is a solid rumor, and apparently it's a fact, that there is an entire third act that was filmed and never put in with an actual killer. So
Don't like
Shout
it.
Factory, I'm sure they'll eventually figure that one out if they haven't already. People would like to see that, but at the end of the day, that's not what the movie is. So
No, I think it has to exist the way it does, man.
well, and that's the thing is, like, when you're watching it, you're like, wait, what's the title of the film? April Fool's Day? Okay. Like, you might keep that in your head the whole time.
And if you do forget it, because if you forget it, that the title is April Fool's Day, you're not expecting that all of it is a joke, and it just kind of sneaks up on you. So it's fun. It's fun.
All right, Danny. How many fake knives do you give April Fool's Day?
I will give April Fool's Day a solid 3.
Yes, I'll give it a solid 3 as well. Watch it. Please watch it. It is part of our horror collective. It's one of those things you should definitely watch at least once so you know about it and be in the loop.
Yeah, and you're right. It has developed a nice cult following, and it's a lot of fun. And guys, hit me up in the comments if you guys want to be a part of this cabin retreat that I'm forming. Come with. It'll all be a blast.
Oh, can't wait for that. Until next time, that's Danny. I'm Lance, reminding you to
lock your doors,
bolt your windows,
and happy April Fools.
Join us next time in our Slasher's Paradise.
Gonna get ya.
Hey! Thank you everyone for watching Slasher's Paradise tonight. Please go down to the subscribe button right down here and click subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you know when we go live next time on YouTube. Danny.
And if you prefer an audio version, look us up on Apple Podcasts, find Slasher's Paradise, listen to us obviously, and leave a 5-star rate and review. If you don't know what to say, go ahead and put in a request of a movie you'd like for us to talk about. We'd love to hear what you think, guys.
Yes, please. And if you would love to see more of our beautiful faces, head to Facebook.com/Dead Candy Fix. Dead Candy is the producer of Slasher's Paradise, and we will see you there, and we will see you next time. Here's to you guys.
This is Slasher's Paradise. Sorry, I had to work that in.
And I'm going to drink on that.